Ooh, if I keep doing this, my background kind of dances a little bit. How neat. This is COFOH Live and Undead. I am your host, Daniel Crozier, and I am joined by the amazing Aaron Pfeil. Yeah! Do I have something on my face? Aaron, how are you, sir?
Hey, Daniel, doing great. How are you?
Good. Aaron, you are the creator of Alone in the Woods, a new role-playing game it's got its new Kickstarter just kicked off not too long ago, right?
Yeah, we just kickstarted last Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Aaron, for everybody that's not familiar with what you do, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and how you got into role-playing games.
Yeah, so I come from Louisiana, a small town called Hammond. It's about an hour outside of New Orleans. And I was raised in a dramatic arts family. So we were always around theater and the stage. And that's what my family's trade is. So my dad is a lighting designer. My mom, she works in the public school system to teach kids about theater. So I was always into costumes and pretending to be something else. And that's kind of how I started into role-playing games. It really wasn't, it was more of like the fact that I wanted to be someone else and be something else. And that sort of combined with like my love for games. And then I got into role-playing games. So over the years, I developed a real love for games like Mafia or Werewolf. And these are like a brand of games called social deduction, which means that you don't know what the other people are. So it's really
because I don't know either.
Yeah, so it's like a mystery game.
Okay.
Almost like a murder mystery.
Nice.
And so one person will be like a secret werewolf, and they're trying to kill off the other players, and everyone else is trying to figure out who that person is. So in college, instead of studying for my exams on Friday night, I held a 15, 20 person large group of people who played this game Werewolf every single Friday.
Wow.
And we would just crush it. We had so much fun. And eventually I decided that I love the genre so much and I wanted to do something creative with it, and led me to create Alone in the Woods.
Oh, wow. That's cool. So, with Alone in the Woods, what is that game about?
Yeah, so Alone in the Woods is a unique board gaming experience. It's about a witch's revenge on a village. This village is grown on or fallen on desperate times, and their crops have been rotting. Their meat is spoiled. The well water is tainted, and they've blamed all of this on a witch. And whether the witch did it or not, the witch is here to claim the revenge on the village. So it's about most people are like, yes, I want to be the witch and tear it down the establishment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really about a witch's revenge on this village, and the villages struggle to survive, which a lot of players end up being the villagers. But then sort of the personal journey of the game is that you as a player get to really decide if you want to remain a villager and put your faith in that order, in that establishment, or if you'd rather find the coven in the woods and
Yeah.
hopefully become a witch.
Okay. Wow. That's cool. You mentioned that participating in games, you wanted to develop your own. Yeah, can you elaborate a little bit more on how Alone in the Woods kind of was conjured?
Yeah. Oh man. So it comes from a lot of places. So
Okay.
as a kid, I would make up games out of a lot of different things, like any sort of like toys lying
Yeah.
around the house. Um, I would like grab. I don't know if you ever played with like Fisher Price toys, like the knights, like the
Yep.
medieval knights, or there was this other toy we had called Z-Bots, and they were like these little like micro machines, and they
Okay.
were like kind of running like kind of little just machines with like guns or just like cool Autobot sort of features.
Yeah.
Anyways, I would like grab these toys and I would find like a mat, like a chessboard mat. We had like a cloth chessboard mat, and I would write stats for them and like make up all these like weird like rules like on how
Wow.
to play. And that was almost more fun than playing the game itself.
Yeah. The world building aspect.
Yeah, and really getting into looking at a piece like like a little toy and being like, what are your powers? Like what makes you special? Like, are you a fast little micro machine bot, or are you like a
Right.
strong and defensive? So I always like to make games, and about 6 years ago, it was around Halloween, and I was rewatching a movie called The Witch. Uh,
Yeah. Nice.
yeah, have you seen that movie?
Robert Eggers. Yeah.
Oh my god, I adore that movie.
Nice.
I'd already seen it in theaters, and it
Mhm.
was mind blowing, right? And I was like, just gonna watch it by myself,
Yeah.
really absorb it. And as I watched it, I fell in love with just the journey of Anya Taylor-Joy's character,
Okay.
and how she, starts off as someone who is like so pure. Like if you watch the movie, you see like she is so dedicated to her faith and her family.
Yeah.
Um, and then slowly the family starts to tell her like, you're a witch, like you're the one doing all these things. And she's like, no, it's not me. Like, I
Yeah.
haven't done it. But then eventually, I guess spoiler alert on the podcast. I guess it's kind of an old movie, but she becomes a witch at the end of it. And I think that story is
Mhm.
so powerful, and I wanted to create a game where the mechanics allowed you as a player to make that choice
Oh,
and
okay.
take the journey from being a villager to becoming a witch. And
Mm.
for whatever reason, like sometimes players come into the game and they're from the very get-go, they're like, I want to be a witch, right? Like
Yeah.
that's, you got this like vindication. But sometimes people come in and they're like, I don't really know what I want to do. And
Yeah.
then they get the choice and they're like, let me go for it. It's kind of scary. There's a lot more opportunity as a witch in a way.
Mhm.
And yeah, so that's really how the game came about, is that I wanted to tell like a story from that movie.
My God, that's fantastic. You know, before we went live, I mentioned it's like I have no real experience with role playing games, Dungeons and Dragons, and too much like that. I dabbled in it maybe when I was in elementary school with a couple friends, but that's pretty much it. I mostly most of my time is I'm being creative, illustrating or writing or doing something else. But this sounds like such a wonderful kind of constructive way to engage with your friends and kind of exercise like those kind of strategic brain muscles and really kind of connect with people on that. Um, yeah, for a novice like myself, how would you recommend I start playing your game?
Yeah, so It's a great question because this is really an audience that I want to appeal to are
Yeah.
people who maybe not like maybe aren't so familiar with complex games,
Right.
but maybe are willing to take that step if there's the right sort of experience in front of them.
Yeah.
So I wanted to create that thing that is folk horror and it has that horror appeal and they're like, wow, this is this is really real, right?
Yeah.
And so for someone like you, I have the rule book on the Kickstarter page.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
so you can read the rules. It's it takes. I'll tell you right now, like it is a complex game. It is a dense game, um, and there's a rule book there. A how to play video is
Oh, nice.
in the works, but there's also this great playthrough that we
Yeah.
have. It's an hour and a half long playthrough.
Wow.
It's like the full experience,
Okay.
and we're making shorter versions of it so that you can kind of get like a nice like charcuterie board, uh,
Right.
like piecemeal version. But by watching the playthrough video, reading the rule book, and the how to play, like you'll be able to see like, oh, I really get it.
Yeah.
I really understand how the experience kind of goes. There's a lot of little rules that dictate how to play in between.
Mm.
Um, but one of the things that I tell up front in the rule book and in the how to play video is that first and foremost, Alone in the Woods is an experience.
Yeah.
And if you as a player are so hung up on the rules, like you have to play by the rules. But if you break a rule or if something doesn't go right, it's not going to break the experience.
Okay.
You just keep playing. It's the imperfection stays in the game, and you just keep going for it because it's going to just feel great once you play and you're figuring out everything, and then by the end of it, you're like, oh, I know exactly what's happening.
Okay. Wow. Nice. The do you have some comments coming in? Some nice greetings from Angela saying hello.
Hello.
Um, with the Kickstarter launched and your goal is to you're going for about like $66,000, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
essentially, what is, can I ask, what the end goal is? Is it to just go ahead and manufacture the game yourself, or are you looking for just to, get it out there, get it to people, and then, maybe like, would somebody else manufacture it later? Yeah, I'm not sure how these things work.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So the way the pipeline goes, at least in our case, we're a
Mhm.
small indie studio. It's me and a handful of others
Okay.
that I'll make sure to shout out on this stream. But the way the pipeline goes is, we are trying to raise these funds, the $66,600, um,
Nice.
to have enough money to manufacture the game. It is a deluxe experience. It's very tactile.
Yeah.
There's this wooden box that looks incredible. Like the artwork is stunning. So we were trying to raise the money to manufacture the game itself
Okay.
and have enough money to ship the game. It's being manufactured by a production company. Their name is Panda,
Oh,
and
cool.
in the board game industry, they really are top tier. They top shelf manufacturers. They've made some of the top titles in board gaming. Um, so we're going through them. I knew that they could handle something so uh, varied and just like
Mhm.
unique like this. So we raise the money. We get them to manufacture the copies. We receive sort of a preview copy, make sure everything looks great, and then I give them the go ahead and say like, this is it. We've got the funds. Start making them. So then they
Cool.
make everything, send it to America. We have a
Mm.
shipping partner through Black Box who is going to then warehouse the game, and then they will distribute it to all the backers um,
Nice.
of the Kickstarter who've backed into the game.
Nice. Are there any other additional incentives to the Kickstarter?
Yeah, so they are. There's two major pledge goals
Mhm.
or pledges. One is the base game,
Okay.
and the base game comes with the black wooden box.
Nice.
All these deluxe components. It comes with a bell that you get to ring and like get people to come back from the woods in the game. A sand timer. Actually, I have some of these pieces here.
Oh yeah.
Might I share?
Yes.
Um,
Definitely.
Black wooden box. Cool stuff.
Sweet.
Comes with this like sliding lid to put all the pieces in. Really sweet. Also comes with this sand timer that you get to flip
Oh, okay.
and limit how much time people have in the woods,
Yeah.
and a bell where you get to bring people back from the woods. So those are some of the sweet deluxe components that the games comes with, many, many
Yeah.
more. And then the next pledge tier after that, it comes with all of those pieces of the game, and you get 3 pieces of art that has been illustrated by my good friend Steven Aviles. He's a Denver local artist and illustrator,
Cool.
and he has hand drawn all the pieces of artwork in this game, and we're including 3 5x7 pieces of art with that pledge.
Nice.
After that, there's stretch goals that are going to be in the Kickstarter. So we're upgrading the card, the cards themselves. There's going to be an embroidery stretch goal to embroider some of the cloth bags in the game. So yeah, there's lots of things that you can either buy the game, which is a deluxe experience already, and then just like, watch the stretch goals grow. And though all of the stretch goals, if we unlock them, that applies to every single person that's backed the game.
Oh, sweet.
So those upgrades are like permanent for everybody. So that'll be pretty exciting.
Wow, that's pretty cool. The I was just thinking, like, if you get your 60,000 or 666 essentially, can you get to the 999, and get something a little bit pretty ridiculous set up?
I mean, oh man, I would be over the moon if we reached 100,000, close to it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because then we'll have all these Kickstarter or stretch goals that are unlocked, and every game is going to have. I mean, there's a full list of them. They're going to be on the Kickstarter page soon after this video it goes or is posted. We're still getting some of those hammered out for everyone, but all of those stretch goals will be applied. It'll help lower the total cost of the game itself. We'll get a lot of copies to work with. So we're getting there.
Nice. Well, that's cool. This is pretty exciting thing. And you mentioned before we went on, the day job is something completely that I had no idea, came out of left field for me. But you're crunching numbers for Infidelity.
Yeah. So I work for Fidelity Investments.
Nice.
It's a great company to work for. They have a branch or just a main location in Denver.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the service representatives there. I help people who need help with their finances or making transactions in their accounts. And I've always been kind of like a good service worker in that way. And I didn't know anything about finances going into it. And I wanted to just learn more about that world because it's so important, so important to be financially secure in this day and age when it's like all on you. Like
definitely.
You have to, like, you're responsible for your retirement.
Right.
It's like, okay.
Right.
That's a big one.
With something like that too, like I can't help but think that that's lend itself pretty well to figuring out the financing that goes into like making your own game and having to produce that.
It definitely helps. Definitely helps think about like the taxing of the game and where the taxes are going to come from, or all of the steps that I need to keep in line, because that's really fallen on me, and also my brother, who's been very involved in the game
Cool.
process. He's helped me with just working out the financing of the game as well. And yeah, it's good to have a job that can help with those skills.
Nice. The um, you know, right now, you're broadcasting out of yeah, as you mentioned before. Oh, and I just realized I called it infidelity and not fidelity. My apologies.
We'll
Whoops.
just cut that in post. We'll just
Yeah, yeah,
we'll
yeah,
just edit that
yeah.
out.
This isn't going out live, is it? Yeah, mistakes and all.
Oh,
Yeah,
whoops, we're 20 minutes in.
crap. All right. So, no, no you're broadcasting out of a really cool place. Can you talk about that and what you're doing there? You're doing there?
Yeah, so um we met you and I met in Colorado
Yep.
at the Festival of Horror, um
Yes.
where we gave, yes, the festival. So brilliant. It was such an honor to be there.
Oh, thank you.
Um
Yeah, it was great to have you there.
Yeah, and you were there for the presentation of the game, and like you heard me
Yes.
talk about this thing for an hour. Um, which, first of all, before I even get into where I am, like I wasn't even planning on talking for an hour. That was
Oh,
that was like completely like that was off the book. Um, so because I was there with the wizard's chest,
yeah.
right? The wizard's chest, and we didn't. This is like kind of like behind the scenes, but we didn't really plan like how we were going to like manage the time. And it was kind of
Right.
just like, oh, Aaron, you'll just go first. And I was like, okay. And then I start talking about Alone in the Woods, and I can't stop. Um, so, anyways, we met in Denver, or yeah, Denver, Colorado. I did a lot of promoting there, and I packed the whole game up, put it in the car, and
Mm,
drove all the way across the country to Salem, Massachusetts.
cool.
So I am in the Witch City during the month of October.
Wow.
It's amazing. Every night here feels like Halloween. Like,
Nice.
have you been in Salem
I
for?
I have not. I think that's something that my girlfriend would definitely be interested in doing.
Look, it's the best. It's like a pilgrimage for horror fans. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Um, Especially if you like Halloween's in costumes, like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's the best. So like you can go out on like a Wednesday, and everyone's still in costume, having a great time. I'm out here with Alone in the Woods, and I have some market days at the Haunted Happenings. It's the Haunted Happenings Marketplace. It's a
Cool.
local Salem marketplace that they have like around the city, and we have a booth and we have the game, and I'm here to just talk about it, present it, and have people sign up and
Nice.
back the game on Kickstarter. So we have like this QR code, and I'm talking about the game, and I'm like, yeah, like back the game on Kickstarter.
Nice.
It's right here, and if you back the game with us like in person, then you'll have you'll receive a piece of artwork like right here and there. Um, and so yeah, it's been part of the whole campaign. We've had this idea for the campaign since last year,
Yeah.
um, to be in Salem. So we're here, we're doing it. I'm doing it live. I'm doing it old school,
Cool.
and it's awesome. Yeah, it feels good.
That's cool. Have being out there too? Have you been able to have folks play the game with you, or just kind of show them how to get started and get going?
Yeah, we're asking around and trying to find spots in Salem to have people play the game.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, they have like a gaming cafe here called the
Nice.
Castle. Um, Another cafe in the town called Gulu Gulu Cafe. So we're talking. We're in contact with them to set up a game night
Okay.
and have people play the game. Um, so just trying to get that facilitated. Obviously, it's a busy time for
Yeah.
Halloween, and everyone's got a lot to do. But yeah, trying to find some like good avenues to have people play the game in person. Besides, me just talking about it and getting people pumped up.
Nice, nice. We've got Faith just popped in. Hi, Faith. Just saying hello.
Hey, Faith.
Um, yeah. So I'm interested to see, what with those who aren't friends or family. Generally, what's the response on playing this game on wanting to be the witch that seeks revenge?
Yeah, so the response is great, man.
Good.
People have people you know have like unforgettable experiences. Like I had one group play the game back
Mhm.
in like 2020 before the
Oh,
pandemic. And
wow.
they played in 2020 and they loved the game, they were fans of it. And this was at Hexacon. It's a
Okay.
board game convention
Yep.
in Denver, so
Yep.
pretty great. Shout out to Hexacon.
Nice.
And they played it there in 2020, and 3 years later, I brought the game back to Hexacon because everything was kind of clearing up in 2023, and I had them sign up to play again,
Nice.
and I didn't realize who it was at first, and then they come up and they were like, "Yeah, we've played your game before," and I was like, "Oh my god, like I recognize y'all,"
Yeah.
and one of the players there, she said like, "I have talked about this game every single week since I played the game. It's
Ooh,
it's that good. It's you know
stays
it
with you.
stays with you. It has this lasting experience that it's very personal. It's a very personal game where I feel like a lot of board games are great. Like I love board games so much, but I wanted to make something that was like dynamic and got you out of the seat
Yeah.
of the main table. So that's one of the main mechanics of the game is uh you sit, everyone sits at the table to play the first steps of the game, but then you get to the woods step and everyone gets up from the table and they go into separate rooms around the house where there are
Ah,
these woods boards
okay.
and they draw cards looking for resources. So it's this really mobile, agile experience. So you're out in the woods, in your kitchen, your
Wow.
bathroom, your closet, wherever you can find some space, and you're drawing cards looking for resources to bring back to the village. And if you're in the same room as a witch player, they can turn you into a witch if they have the Coven card.
Ooh, nice.
Pretty sweet artwork.
That
Stephen
is pretty cool.
Aviles, eat your
Oh,
heart
okay.
out.
Oh, very sweet.
Um,
Nice.
yeah, so it's a really dynamic experience in that way, and by breaking up some of the monotony of just like sitting at the table and like playing a game, it starts to get in there, like you're like, wow, this is something different
Yeah.
for me.
Wow, that sounds pretty entertaining. When playing that too, I know I've got friends that really get into like D&D and stuff, and they're really invested. And sometimes whole campaigns can go on for weeks and months. Um, is this like that, or is this something that you can play start to finish in a night?
Yeah, so it's designed to be a start to finish
Hmm.
experience, like in a night.
Okay.
It's definitely more of the like we're here to play this game
Yeah.
sort of experience, not so much of the casual, excuse me, sort of the we're here to, you know, we're here to drink and have fun, and then like if a board game comes out, then like we'll play it, It's
Yeah.
really like we're here to play Alone in the Woods.
Okay.
Um, but it really is, a pack, you unpack it, you play it, you pack it back up, and that's the game. Um, but as you play over the course of like multiple playthroughs, you'll start to see people like want to do different things.
Nice.
So people, in our experience with my dedicated group of like friends and game testers, um, everyone starts off to want to be a witch. Like that's, everybody wants to be a witch. It's the
Yeah.
best. And then as you start to play the game, you're like, well, I start the game off as a villager, and maybe I want to like actually like work hard to save the village,
Mm.
And see how much I can do there and win that way,
Yeah.
because it's a little more thrilling to like switch it up and change up your choices.
Yeah.
um and
Not
also it's
necessarily want to be the witch that seeks bloody revenge.
Daniel, you need to, can I put you on the Kickstarter page? Like, you're gonna be like the promo.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, I've got the lighting for it in the backdrop.
I will replace the promotional video right now. Like, oh, that's the best.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Well, hey, no problem. I aim to please any way I can help.
yeah, so it's crazy, how it evolves over the course of multiple playthroughs, people's intentions, their objectives, personal objectives change.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's a good lasting, like, I like equate it to like a slice of cheesecake for a dessert
Okay.
instead of like a Butterfinger,
Yeah.
like it's really filling, it's really
Yeah.
satisfying.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a terrible analogy. I'm allergic to chocolate and peanuts.
Oh
So
no, really?
Butterfinger would do me no good. I would always go for the cheesecake.
There
Anyway.
you go. Then it's for you.
Yeah. It's great and it's my default. So yeah. that Man, that's cool. One of the things that I was thinking on something like this, because it forces you to have to think strategically. um and there's so many different abstract ways you can play your role in the game. um and yeah, I'm of that age where starting to get older, the mind's a little slower, and it's just like, yeah, keeping that tool sharp. I think like role playing games and just games in general, just you know uh, yeah, helps to sharpen that old noodle of yours. um have you ever had like a response like that? It's just like, oh man, this really kept me present, kept me focused, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And um that being said, I've had people play the game of all ages, honestly.
Cool.
I've had people play the game who are, like 18, um, all the way up to 50, 60 years old.
Yeah.
Um, and it's been a really great experience for them to play the game because I designed every step of the game to be a communal experience where everyone kind of, you know, takes their turns at the same time and is
Hmm.
sort of like helping each other uh, complete the experience of the game instead of there being a lot of these individual, there are individual choices, but it's not a game where it's really like, now it's your turn, like, your turn, make a lot of like strategic decisions and have this like this foresight into, you know number crunching to make sure you get the most victory points. A lot of it happens really like personally, like uh,
Yeah.
in the moment decision making. So you're kind of you're present, and the decisions you make are present, and yeah, you kind of help people like craft the experience and help them, uh, play the rounds. So in that way, I think it does keep people engaged and doesn't have this sort of, if I take a turn and there's three other or four other players that have to take their turn, then I'm
Yeah.
just kind of like, I'm sitting here with my cards or my pieces, and I just have to like watch the board and watch people play. I
Nice.
wanted to make something that was always happening.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Keep it lively. Keep it moving.
Yeah. Yeah. Pacing,
Yeah.
man. Pacing.
Yeah. Well, it definitely keeps you on your toes when you're doing that too. Like everybody should be paying attention.
Right. Right. And it makes the game feel like, I say the game takes around 2 hours,
Oh,
especially if you're first learning the game.
yeah.
Um,
That's not bad.
it's not bad. What's surprising is that it actually feels like it goes a lot faster once you've learned the rules and you've played a round, and then you go to
Okay.
round two, and round two is like, oh, okay, we're doing the same thing again. like the same steps. And round 2 feels a little more natural. And then by round 3, you're like, I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
But there's that dynamic of, everyone's playing and you're getting up from the table and going into different rooms and coming back.
Yeah.
It does not feel like 2 hours. It's like, by the time you're in the game and you look at your watch, you're like, oh my God, it's been 2.5 hours. Like, I wish we could play another one, but it doesn't feel like it took that long to get there.
Nice. Wow, that's cool. One thing too I like about is you showed some of the art and some of the presentation. You send over this photo of the display. Let me turn off this banner real quick. There you go. I love the look of it too. I mean, you mentioned that Robert Eggers, The Witch, was a big influence. This also feels very like Mike Flanagan, kind of haunting. When I first saw this, I thought, oh great, where's the the Ouija board,
Yeah.
And let me turn that off real quick. So there you are. There's your face again. But yeah, I thought the presentation is really unique and pretty gripping with the the pentagram and everything. And I was just like, oh man, this is great. This feels like you're going into like a witchboard movie or something like that. And
oh yeah.
And you might there's that element of danger whenever that presentation and also candles, because and that could be a lot of things. Again, that element of danger, the supernatural, or you just want to cover up your farts.
This is just really a fart covering sort of game.
Is that what it is?
That's the objective, actually.
Yeah. It's like, geez, really? 45 candles, huh? You must have had a lot of Taco Bell today. Sorry, Bill.
Oh,
the drive-through beckoned. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm interested to see more of how things develop with the game, the Kickstarter, and just seeing like that area of creativity, because I come from a world of comic books and film, and so that's but most of the time that's stuff that you make and it's just presented there. You don't have to participate in it as much as you do a role-playing game, and really I think you really have to be a lot more as a participant. So I think that's really cool. My hat's off to you.
Thank you. Hey, I appreciate that. I wanted to make something like I told you earlier. I mean, this game comes from a cinematic really approach and cinematic storytelling, and I love horror films. Like it's one of my favorite hobbies outside of board games and like playing games, is really just like absorbing films and the artistic style and the pacing, the character development. Like, it's really something special. And one of my favorite movies that really also sort of crafted this game was Jumanji.
Right. Okay.
Jumanji is like childhood for me.
Yeah.
And I have this distinct memory of going to Walmart as a kid and going down the toy aisle, and I saw a copy of Jumanji in Walmart, but I was like, that's not Jumanji. Like, that's not the movie. The movie board is wooden and it's made out of these ivory pieces, and it's like, obviously I can't summon monkeys. But
it's a good thing. They rip off your face. Don't do it.
Don't do it. I'm telling you, it's right now. We're not conjuring monkeys. But I wanted to make something that felt elemental and felt like it was an heirloom in a way. And I've said this in podcasts before or interviews before, but my sort of experience or backstory of how the game was made is not even me. Like in my mind, there was like this group of like young girls in like the 1600s that got all these ideas about witches and being
Mm.
villagers, and went around their house and stole like a tablecloth and this and a sand timer and a bell and like a black wooden box, and made this game about going out into the woods and playing and becoming witches. And that was packed up, put in a black wooden box, and then left in an attic or something, and then found like 400 years later. And that's really the sort of emotion I want people to have when they touch this thing and play with the pieces. Is like, and also like another fun thing about the pieces itself, is that it's really subtle. Here, I'm just gonna pull this out real quick. It's a subtle choice, but the resources that you're looking for in the woods are represented by like these little buttons.
Okay.
And these are just like, these are fun, just standard everyday buttons. And witches, there's not really this like correlation between witches and buttons, but I just wanted it to feel like it was like this is like a found game. Like,
yeah,
somebody just found pieces to play with, and this is what you would play with. You'd play with these buttons. You would play with these like little river stones, and like these are the pieces that you put on the board to represent these ideas.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty interesting. It's kind of, that found object, kind of suggests that, they have their own, individual history, each little artifact. It's like, where do they come from? How do they get there? Why are they in this thing? Especially when it comes to like anything with witchcraft, there's always that, that mystery and that aura, that kind of surrounds, so many different objects. So many objects can be made to be cursed. It's pretty interesting, and really, plays with the mind and the imagination in that respect. So that's pretty fun. That sounds like a good time with friends. Open up a bottle, maybe two, of your favorite cab, and have at thee.
Have at it. Yeah, are you familiar with like the genre of like folk horror and like the Wicker Man? Like, I'm sure you've probably seen.
Oh yeah, I've seen both versions. Yeah, so folk horror is always something that I always find pretty alluring because of the history and where some of these things come from. Especially like recently, you've got like a good movie I really like to go back to is Rare Exports, where you have like the Norwegian Santa Claus, who's really just a Krampus, monster that's encased in ice, and all his elves are these dirty old men that kidnap kids.
What?
Yeah,
what is this called?
It's called Rare Exports. It's a Norwegian film, and it's absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies now. One and for me and Elise, my girlfriend, and it's I mean, there's the lore of like Saint Nicholas and Krampus and everything that goes into it, and then there's a mining operation over a hill where this family comes across it, and all the miners are dead, and they're like, why? And then they find that all these kids have been also going missing, in the surrounding areas too. And
of course,
and they found that this kaiju-sized, Saint Nicholas with his giant horns is encased in ice, and all his elves are trying to melt him out of it. And,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's a mixture of like folklore, and like Norwegian folklore. Some of the some of those traditions, plus like kind of I don't know, Raiders of a Lost Ark kind of action adventure with a little bit of comedy dashed in there too. Yeah, it's really really good. But yeah, and then going to like jump into like The Witch or the Wicker Man. And there's a number of like Christopher
Midsummer.
Lee
Midsummer
folklore
is a good one.
movies too. Yeah, Midsummer. Oh man, that is one. And to that
That's good.
extent, like like Hereditary has elements
Oh,
of that folk horror too. But yeah, Midsommar, that was really good. I don't want to watch that one again. just
yeah.
just because of the old people, kind of oh, time to go, and then
Yeah,
it's like
speaking of things that you think of once a week, like
yeah, yeah,
Midsummer, yeah.
yeah. I mean
Yeah.
the whole movie is amazing. It's such a slow burn, and for a while there, I was like, man, I'm watching kind of a documentary on a make believe culture, and
Right.
yeah, it's really interesting. I find that cultures with a lot of history and steeped in like some level of superstition, especially when they bring it into the real world. It's like, man, that stuff can be pretty intense. I absolutely eat that stuff up. Love it. I love how unnerving it makes me too. I like
Yeah.
being spooked.
It's it's one of these genres that is like it's so it like speaks to like this core
Yeah,
spirituality that I think kind of like in certain degrees is in all of us.
yeah,
And it's it really has that like, there is something else out there. And
right,
it speaks to like this lineage, that history, that, you know, that past that we all come from
yeah,
in a rooted way, and maybe have like, given it up for modern society and the conventional uh comforts of Amazon and
right,
Starbucks. And
right,
then,
right.
so that's exactly what this game is trying to achieve, is like, you know, getting something that feels like a historic heirloom piece, putting it in your hands in the modern day, and being
Yeah,
like, and just taking you out of whatever your mindset is, and
yeah.
bringing you back to these like rooted pieces and mechanics that bring you into this world.
Nice.
Um, yeah,
And and to build on that, have that shared experience with a group of people too. So yeah, that
yeah,
what a great way to connect with others, um,
yeah,
on that ride. Man, Aaron, that is absolutely amazing. Um, you, yeah. Is there anything else that you want to address that I might not have touched upon?
yeah. So hey, shout out to mentioned him earlier, Stephen Aviles. He's an
Nice.
incredible artist. Has done all the artwork for the game. It looks absolutely stunning. It's got this great tarot sort of vibe to it. Just to show off like a few more pieces that I think
Yeah,
are really great here.
yeah. Put those up.
Uh, yeah, these are like some real spooky pieces. Let's bring in the Halloween haunts. Um,
'Tis
these
the
are
season. Oh,
these are
look at
like
those.
these are like some of the cards that you get to play with in the game. It looks absolutely amazing to play with, and they have this tarot vibe to them. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Get some angles. Hit
There
them
we
with
go.
the angle. Um, and shout out to my support group that's really helped me get this game and this campaign moving. Um,
Cool.
my girlfriend partner Jessica Bradley, she's been absolutely incredible, making sure I'm on task with everything. Uh,
Here she is.
there we go. My brother Stephen Pfeil, he's helped me edit all the videos that you see in
Cool.
our campaign. My sister-in-law Amanda Pfeil, she's been doing the graphic design work and really crafted the campaign page from top to bottom. And without them, I would not have been able to get here to this place. And there's so many other people that have helped me uh, create this game and create the rules and um, film the videos, and all the people in the playthrough videos, like all my great friends in Denver who have just been so dedicated to helping me refine the rules, and they've been so wonderful uh, to me in this board game. So just wanted to make sure that my people get their recognition. And yeah, if you like folk horror, if you love board games, astrology, tarot, Dungeons and Dragons, like go check out Alone in the Woods on Kickstarter. It's a really unique experience. It's a very premium sort of board game endeavor. So if you like that and you want to support a local board game designer in Denver, Colorado, check out the game and back it on Kickstarter.
Goddamn right. Go and become the witch and seek bloody revenge. Yes. That it sounds like so much fun. Great for friends and family, and for everybody that's tuning in too. The link is scrolling down below, so make sure you grab a screen grab of that and copy and paste the URL and go support independent creators that are doing amazing things. It sounds incredibly fun and really, really innovative. So yeah, Aaron, hats off to you. I know it's a tough endeavor, and keep on trucking, as a lot of witches say. So
that is what they say.
That's true.
Thanks,
I
Daniel.
think there's more witches that are truck drivers than we know. That'll be the sequel to this, right? Alone in the Rig.
Yes. Yeah, travel in the rig.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Daniel, thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast, and just thanks for the interview and the opportunity and the platform to talk about the game.
You bet. We'll follow up with you, see how you're doing. With the Kickstarter, we've got 30 days left, I think, on it.
30 days, yeah. So the Kickstarter's up in November 16th.
Nice.
So we've got 30 days from today to reach our funding goal of $66,600. Pretty on the nose for a witch game, but we thought that would be a fun community goal for everyone to just rally behind. And let's make it. Let's get to that number.
Sounds good. Aaron, thanks again, and stick around for a few minutes while we sign off. But everybody that tuned in, thanks so much, guys. And of course, to all our sponsors, to our friends at Mutiny Information Cafe, if you're going to start a revolution, make sure you're caffeinated. And of course, our friends at Hellfire Entertainment, thanks for rebroadcasting us on your social media. To Groovy TV, and of course, to my producers, Lily Fisher, Amanda Armstrong, and Stefan Santa Cruz. And of course, Alien Donut Films and Angela Joseph Productions, to Bill and Angela, respectively. Thanks for helping us out. And to everybody that tuned in, happy Halloween, everybody. Make sure you're wearing costumes all the time and doing some tricks, but hopefully for some treats. And be good, be safe, be kind out there, help each other out during tough times, and stay spooky, everybody. Go support this Kickstarter. Do it now as we're ending this broadcast. Yeah! Have a good night, everybody.